We're on air. This always gets me because I'm never sure when we're on air. It's getting clearer now. Okay, it's Martin here from Ealing, Hammersmith and West London College with the BluAcro group. I think, Jam. Okay, you're at the college. Actually, you've got a good sharp image of the two of you this week. But it's interesting that you two are in college. Everybody else is spread around the country. And I think you've probably got the worst bandwidth and connection because you're in the college, but we'll see how it goes. Dan, would you want to talk about what we are doing?
We are currently testing an open source web-based operating system, which is the Chromium OS. It is the one that Chrome OS was using Chrome OS, which is used in Chromebooks. And now we're currently testing it out through the college. So.
Okay, what's the advantages of Chromium?
What's the advantages of the OS?
Oh, the advantages, it's fast booting, and it automatically saves the data, the documents that you're doing. It automatically saves it on the internet, and everything is cloud-based, so you can access it everywhere as long as you have internet.
Yeah, that's one of the cool things about it. Yeah, we come back to some of the advantages. Action.
Hi.
Right, what we're going to do next week?
Oh yeah, we're gonna get some more machines in the staff room, and we're gonna install Chromium in there, and we're gonna let the staff experience the Chromium, and we're gonna get some feedback from that.
That's cool because we've already put some machines in the staff in the student room, and now we're going
the learning centre.
Yeah, that's right, in the learning centre. That's right, actually. And now we're going to sort of try and develop the staff, because of course it's the staff that teach the students next year. Two-pronged attack maybe on this one, students and staff together. Clifford.
Hello.
Your creative brain has somehow come up with these left field names out the blue somehow. Blue. You're responsible for the name of the group, BluAcro. If I got it right. I keep getting this Argo. I think it's some association in my head about blue and the Argo Sea or something. I'm not sure, but I keep calling it BluArgo for some reason. The BluAcro. So I asked the group to do a press release yesterday, and I was expecting us to put it out on Monday, but Clifford had kind of knocked it into shape within hours.
The 3D thing, right?
Yeah.
What was planning? Okay. I noticed that a lot of organizations tend to use 3D graphics to put their point across, provide, or what they're going to be doing with their projects. So I was thinking maybe we could sort of incorporate the same thing. I have recently learned how to use some of the 3D modeling and animating software that's out there. So I was thinking for the blog part or for the advertising bit that we've got for our webpage, we could make use of that to sort of put a bit of a point across as to what Chromium can do and things like that. Yeah, that's about
it. When I looked, the interest I have is I'd like to see where you're going to take it, because at the moment I haven't seen any operational use for it, and it's great as a test bed, as I said, but the operational use is really interesting, how you guys are going to use it, whether you're going to bring it down to just maybe a few applications, or whether you're going to burst it wide open and let it loose on anything. The Chromium project has been going a very, very long time, and it's mainly a sort of a code base for an open source sort of project. So it's where people can come and sort of modify and change Chrome code. Whereas the Chrome OS, which is what the Chromebooks run, is a Google product that OEMs can ship on their Chromebooks for general use. So Chrome OS contains a lot more features that aren't in Chromium. So just to make that clear, that the Chrome project is almost like a test ground for a lot of the Chrome OS stuff. So things like verified boot, which is when your Chromebook checks its operating system when it starts up. Things like the easy recovery, which Chromebooks do in case there is any problems whatsoever. Things like 3G support, Adobe Flash, Netflix, and stuff like that. None of those are actually supported in Chromium. They're only supported in Chrome OS. And there'll be there's talk about like WebRTC and stuff like that coming over into Chromium, but at the moment that has to be reserved for the Chrome OS. So it's a very, very interesting operating system you guys are working with. And as you know, I'm very excited to hear how it all goes. So I guess it's sort of like a little 101 in Chrome and Chrome OS. I can't really talk to you about Chromium because obviously it's a test ground. It's an open platform and will change as we're speaking. But Chrome OS and Chromebooks, which is what sort of come from those, they're kind of like the finished project, if you like, and what the developers were aiming for. And every so often we'll get things brought over from the Chromium project and put into Chrome OS. And obviously Chrome OS is also supported not just by Google, but by all Google's partners as well. So you get that benefit as well. So things like the auto-updating within Chrome OS, the idea behind the operating system was to make it sort of quick. We call it speedy, we call it simple, and we call it secure. It's probably the quickest operating system because it's continually quick. It's quick after 18 months as well. It's probably the simplest because you don't have to do anything to it. It updates itself. It's always fresh. It's always new. And you don't need to worry about things like installing programs and making sure your registry is here and defragging disks. It doesn't require any of that anymore. And we've moved all that to one side and dealt with it in a very sort of intelligent way. We've also added a higher level of security than you've probably ever seen before on most operating systems, coming from the hardware side as well. So the fact you won't need a virus program of any kind because nothing ever gets installed on the machine. That's where most of your problems will come. Your slowdown will come from there, your fragmentation will come from there, and also your problems with viruses will come from there as well. So the operating system doesn't rely on programs inside the OS, it relies on web applications. These are simply web pages that do stuff, and you'll probably view some of these if you think about things like Facebook or YouTube. They're not on your device, they're all up in the cloud. And that's where they stay, and they function better up there because you can hold more data, it's quicker to access, and it's much safer because you're not bringing stuff down. So again, adding on that level of security, because nothing's on the device, it doesn't really matter if the device is lost or stolen or broken. There's nothing on it to lose or steal or break. And you can simply move and log into another device of any kind you wish and see all your stuff. And as mentioned earlier on, we're talking about working in the cloud, which makes your stuff always accessible everywhere you go. Rather like your email, you can access it on your mobile phone and you can access it on your computer. That's not because it's on both, it's because it's on neither, and they both connect to where it should be. So it's a very unique way of working. We've sort of flipped the PC world on its head, if you like, and start to work in a more sensible way. So that's kind of where I am. I've been looking forward to hearing on a weekly or maybe monthly basis of how Martin's been getting on with his team. We want people to have a better experience across the board, and if that means we can have a help in designing something that will actually help people achieve their goals better. So for education, for example, the reason why the Chromebooks are so suited for education is because of their security as well as their versatility. The job is always varied, as you know. I kind of work along the same channel all the time, so I'll always be working with the EDU side, but I could be doing crazy things. One day I could be showing a group of kids around for a design idea. The next day I could be visiting the Netherlands and seeing how they're getting on over there. It could be working with new ideas like your guys and your projects that you're doing. And it could also be things that have come and things that have been accepted into our project. So it's a very unique and diverse role, and one that I didn't apply for. I was asked if I could do it. So it's a very interesting way of bringing people into the industry. But I will point out I'm a through and through geek. So it's kind of like a dream job.